Good evening and welcome to tonight's Piledriver Podcast with me, Dynamite Dave, the Heartbreak Yid Phil, and the Surgeon Gav C. How's it going, gents?
Going all right. Not too bad. Thank you very much.
It's certainly going.
Heartbreak Yid. Heartbreak Yid is heartbroken again because the Yids is crap and lost.
Yeah, it's the
to be fair.
New Premier League season, but same old Tottenham Hotspur, as Phil and I and many others of the Yid Army can testify. Another toothless, spineless, trophyless season beckons. So at least we're consistent. So that's the most important thing. Before we go any further, just in case we have any people of a nervous disposition listening, or any young ones, there may be topics discussed on the podcast and language used that may not be appropriate or suitable for all.
And
so,
by me, he means there will be.
Potentially, maybe, definitely, might be, could be nailed on. So,
yeah, okay.
Over to you guys.
Right, so we're going to talk today about it's movie night. It's movie night on the podcast. Woo! But first, like always, we're going to go over like the news. What's the news? Gavin's good at that normally. Birthdays, I think there's somebody today. A couple of more recent ones around today. Mr. Cassidy there wants to talk about the pay-per-view that happened last week. AEW, he's brave, man. I was going to wear my spare shirt, I had it all planned, and then Everton scored. Right. So, today's news, what we got for today's news, guys? Nothing much.
AEW got over 1 million viewers for the first time since sometime last year. I think it was June last year, something like that.
And NXT's around about 700k, is that right? I remember something like that, yeah. So AEW's catching up with WWE's primetime shows. It surprised me, actually, to find out that SmackDown gets more viewers than Raw, because growing up, Raw was always the number one brand. Surprises me that it's the other way around now. One thing, my game came this week. I've been playing WWE 2K18, and I'd like to let everyone know that I am actually now the NXT champion.
NXT! Woo!
NXT champion, career mode. I beat that Bobby Roode guy. Yeah, no problem.
You didn't have to win the Universal Championship to get there either, unlike a certain current champion.
Exactly.
Yes.
Do you know?
Former leader of the Bullet Club. Yeah.
So we ain't got a great deal of news for you tonight.
We have got some other news, guys. There's just some news that I've just been checking over the last few days. So one of the biggest explosions since we last spoke was the artist formerly known as Rusev Day, now called Miro, is now Elite. He is AEW Elite. So he turned up on Dynamite as Kip Sabian's best man
wearing pajamas
for their wedding with Penelope. So Rusev, sporting now bleach blonde hair, is now called Miro, and Miro will be he'll be slowly and surely kicking ass on AEW soon as well. In some other little news as well, just going a little bit retro, former WCW star Vampiro, he's obviously a Lucha Libre legend before he was in WCW, and he's produced, or he's taken part in a documentary showing how he's focused now on his mental health, but sadly is battling Parkinson's disease as well. So all this is explained in his upcoming documentary. And in terms of news, Sasha and Bayley on SmackDown. Best friends no more. Obviously, again. I believe Bayley laying the SmackDown all over Sasha to the former tag team championship partner. And I think that covers the main point of this week's news, unless there's anything that you two guys need to add.
Apparently, Miro's line about the brass ring was actually by Jericho. And Miro was absolutely gobsmacked you could actually say shit like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Brilliant as well, because, again, another extremely underused talent in WWE. So, yes.
Okay, so...
Is that how it is? Is that how far the budget's gone for the green screen there, Gav?
I thought you was going to turn into Miro then, but never mind. Okay.
We're talking about film.
So let's talk about... Yeah, cool. You've got it in there. So talking about the pay-per-view, have you guys both seen it? I honestly haven't yet. I've read the results. You've seen it? Yeah? Okay, so let's talk about it in general. Was it a good pay-per-view? Because I've heard a lot of people say some quite negative things about it, to be honest. What do you think?
Negative, Hardy. It just put a massive downer on everything, seeing him get injured.
Yeah. It's one of those, isn't it? I mean, the last... It's probably just one of those freak things in terms of two wrestlers coming together and having a feud. But the Sammy Guevara and Matt Hardy feud, on two separate occasions over the last month, has resulted in Hardy getting a chair to the front of his head, and then also the back of his head getting really, really close up personal and fruity with concrete.
You're gonna start the conspiracy theorists off here, because I'm already thinking it. Two separate occasions, two real bad things to the same wrestler, weeks apart, and it's not a work. Okay.
Are you assuming that Sammy Guevara just really wants Matt Hardy dead, and because he's got a shirt saying "I cannot die"? Do you think Sammy Guevara is really trying to put that theory to the test?
Well,
let's be really fair though. But, Sammy is only 27. He's quite green still.
I was going to say, does Sammy need to pull his socks up a little bit and get a little bit more safer for the people that he's working with?
Do you know what I think could be really good? And I think Gav shared a video during the week from Sammy Guevara's vlog. It's teased at the end of that particular vlog, could Sammy Guevara become broken? And is he going to form some kind of alliance with Matt Hardy maybe as the weeks go on?
What makes him become broken? Because he feels so guilty about doing real injuries to Matt Hardy.
Well, he probably feels like Matt Hardy still feels if he does become broken, but or near enough. But it looks to me like a little bit like a passing of the torch between Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara, so we can just maybe see how that pans out in the next few weeks.
Although if he could passing on some of his personalities onto Guevara instead, so he goes through broken stage. Then
Chris,
version 1.
Yeah, the multiverse of Sammy.
So guys, Tony, it's Matt on the phone. Look, I really still want to work for your company, but bloody hell, can I be tag team partners with him? He keeps knocking me out, for God's sake. Is it a bit like that, maybe?
That would be so
he might come in sporting like Petr Cech headgear, maybe for his next match, maybe. So
you need something. Maybe a bulletproof vest would do him good as well. You know.
But fair play to him, even though the match should have been called off. I mean, I'm one of the many wrestling fans who thinks that should have been stopped. It should have been ended there and then. They could have covered that with a tidy enough finish. But Matt Hardy decided to carry on the match. So what can you do when it's all running live and somebody who should be stopped won't stop? How do you do it before it gets really messy? So
very difficult. So we're going to call that the low point of the pay-per-view, are we?
I would say so, yeah. Does anybody know what the high point is? Gav, have you got a high point?
I was going to say, what was your high point, Gav?
Surprisingly, not Mercer Mayhem. I can't even say it.
Yeah.
Mimosa.
I would say the Dark Order and the Natural Nightmares match
was phenomenal, wasn't it? Absolutely phenomenal.
Apart from the botch in the Hardy match, it was a good pay-per-view, but it just put a down
on
it all.
It was. And I think a lot of people sort of said it was a bit of a glorified episode of Dynamite, but what can you really do when... Yeah, I mean, and what can you do? You haven't got any crowd in there. Is there really any point in spending ridiculous amounts of money on pyrotechnics and things like that when you haven't got a crowd to feed off? And for me, I thought everybody just played to the strengths, and I thought it was an all-round strong pay-per-view. I loved the fact that Moxley managed to smuggle in the paradigm shift behind the referee's back to pin MJF, and I am tipping MJF to be an absolutely phenomenal star, regardless of what wrestling organisation he is. I think he's just got all the attributes, and he just needs to sharpen up on a little bit more in-ring stuff, and I think he's going to be an all-round great competitor, MJF.
And he's 24.
I know.
How the hell is he only 24?
It's mad, innit? You think like how old the Undertaker is, and this guy's only 24, and if he looks after himself, knows his limits and plays to his strengths, you've got a 25, 30-year career ahead of you in some way, shape or form. So, yeah.
All around. Between the Ropes podcast, he was saying basically like when Jericho was 24, he was fighting in front of like 5 people.
Yeah.
Just trying to make a name for himself, and there's MJF just headline main events pay-per-views already.
I've read a lot of comparisons between himself and The Rock, actually. That's I mean, some of these articles that you read on the internet are really shite, but that's where it came from.
I think
it was to say that he dresses well, he looks like apparently good on the microphone, that type of thing. But yeah, it didn't look like The Rock to me. I've seen him. I know what he looks like. I have seen him on Dynamite.
I think the news. Have you won the auction or not, then, Dave?
The auction.
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 Kurt Angle. Did you get Angle?
Did you forget about it?
Oh, pants. Probably just as well I did, because he ended up going for 41 quid, which is slightly...
Whoa, Kurt Angle's not worth that much. Sorry, Kurt.
It's probably not even worth that in real life at the moment.
I didn't win the bid. It's true. It's damn true.
With a broken freaking neck.
I know, with a broken freaking neck. You know what I mean? I can't even afford it for the DUI. So there we are. So
who's getting a very happy birthday today then? I believe.
Happy birthday! I've got the birthdays up here. If you want me to rattle them off, Gav, or have you got some there?
Well, we've got to go with today for Baron Corbin.
Baron Corbin.
Happy birthday, Baron.
36 years old today, Baron Corbin. We've also got Angelina Love from the TNA Knockouts, 39 today. We've also got Penelope Ford's birthday, 28 today. And of course, the one and only, Penelope Ford's birthday is tomorrow. Ooh. And the one and only, on Tuesday, it's Teddy Long's birthday.
Teddy Long. Yes, I remember Teddy Long. Yeah, manager, SmackDown general manager or something.
I got you, player. So, yeah Teddy Long.
One more to add as well for yesterday, for a big 60, was Road Warrior Animal.
It was Road Warrior 60.
Is that John Laurinaitis? Is that what it's called, I believe?
Joseph.
Yeah. Absolutely awesome. And also sharing the same birthday as Teddy Long is Adrian Adonis.
Oh, adorable.
Adorable.
Do we have to mention this guy? Because he probably introduced himself anyway, Paul Heyman as well. On the
Paul Heyman, yeah. When's his birthday?
Only 55. How is Animal 5 years old?
Camera keeps falling over.
Well, looks like he's 70, the walrus now. And is he also being parodied as a walrus now in the Firefly?
Oh, yes.
Well, yeah.
Oh, that was good.
Was it Wobbling Walrus? Brilliant.
Absolutely. Okay, guys. Shall we move on?
Let's jump straight in
to our gimmick of the week, or whatever you want to call it. So this week we're going to talk about movies, wrestlers in movies, movies about wrestling. Now I'm going to start off with one of my very favourite films about wrestling.
Wait for it.
Okay. So my first pick, and you can decide whether it's good, bad, awful, or plain right bizarre. I really like the David Arquette film Ready to Rumble. It's fun. It's everything that wrestling should be. It's a laugh. It's entertaining. It's fun. It's daft. And that's my shout for the first one. I would put that in a good category. You might disagree. I thought it was an hour and a half of good fun. With plenty of wrestlers in it.
Debut of John Cena.
Yeah.
Who is
and
an
is
extra.
Goldberg in that as well?
Who, sorry?
Goldberg, I believe Goldberg is in it. Very small cameo.
In that, don't I?
Diamond Dallas Page is in it, I believe. Isn't he the main villain?
Bam Bam Bigelow, Randy Savage. Randy
really?
Loads of them.
Booker T.
Have you seen it, Dave? First off.
Not all the way through, mate, no.
Oh, you got to watch it for the King of the Mountain match at the end. You know, it's great. It's good fun. And talking about David Arquette at the start, he actually went into wrestling after that to prove himself to the fans that he wasn't a fraud.
Yeah.
And he's actually an established wrestler now. He's had death matches. He's been nearly killed in the ring. You can't really knock David Arquette for his effort. Just putting it out there, he's never going to go down as a ring legend, but he did enough to prove himself and prove that he wasn't a fraud. Definitely.
Absolutely.
I think.
And
and
he was probably the
8th as well.
Yes.
Happy birthday to him as well. Bit of a tie-in.
Yeah, and there was also a poll put out on the internet as well. Who should AEW sign next, Brock Lesnar or David Arquette?
I'd rather see David Arquette. Never liked Lesnar. Could bring a bit of fun.
I think so, and I think David Arquette would wrestle more than 5 minutes a year as well. So
That's the thing,
would
like, I could see
He'll wrestle all the
Lesnar
time,
being
prove himself.
great in AEW if he actually put his time in.
Yeah.
If he actually wanted to be there, he would be there.
Yeah. Very true.
Brock is not. I can't ever see it.
Right.
Maybe once every other avenue's closed for him. If he can make the most money there, that's what he'll do. But if he can make money elsewhere more, then he'll go that way, because I think that's what he's bothered about mainly.
And to be fair, he has been in AEW programming as well. David Arquette. He was in Being the Elite.
He was. Yes, he was. So he has obviously got some sort of affiliation there, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's in with the Young Bucks, so
yeah,
could work.
I could think something happened. Even if it was like something at a pay-per-view or, like some sort of gimmick match. I think
a run-in. How about a run-in? If Young Bucks, in a tag fight, a run-in saves them, something like that. Does a couple of moves.
Yeah.
Starts a feud with someone, and he could have a short run to the next pay-per-view.
I could see that.
This does say quite a lot about him. He was rated 453 out of the top 500 Pro Wrestling Illustrated 500 2019.
That's not bad, man.
That's 47 people. He's better than
beating 47 other wrestlers. That's amazing.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's great.
In the top 500 as well, not just all
that's
together.
That's amazing. That's quality.
That is good. That's good. Good ranking.
Next film, Phil, or do you want one of us to go next?
I will. No, we'll pass it on. We'll pass the torch on. Gavin, have you got a wrestling film?
Would it be lazy to say The Wrestler?
No, it wouldn't. Not at all.
It's a fantastic
film about wrestling.
Very easy to remember film name, really, given the whole.
Mickey Rourke is best.
Can we just quickly, go back to Ready to Rumble? Gavin, have you seen that film?
A long time ago.
Would you put it good, bad, or awful? Good, bad, or awful? I'm gonna put it as
an average. Can we have a? I watched it because it was about wrestling, category for how good it was.
Right, I'm gonna give it 3 out of 5 stars. Right, The Wrestler, Mickey Rourke.
It was good.
Yeah,
was it Randy the Ram Robinson?
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
And it was Mickey Rourke at his best. It was just such a really raw film. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah,
I really enjoyed it. And it just showed what has happened to probably a lot of the big stars, say in the 70s, 80s,
absolute
maybe
70s,
90s, who have hit the heights and then had to drop down so many levels, and end up sort of wrestling for $50 a night sort of thing as well. So it's
I'll be honest, part of it reminds me a little bit. It reminds me of Jake the Snake Roberts a little bit in some parts.
Yes, it does me. Yeah.
So I can see the true to life side of it. It also kind of reminded me of Rocky 1 for boxing, but it's for wrestling. Which, I mean, I love the Rocky franchise, all of the films, even the bad ones. And the wrestler I did like, but at the same time, I just felt a little bit unfulfilled by the time it had finished. I think it could have been a little bit brighter. The ending could have been a bit nicer. I don't know. It was dark for me, and I think wrestling should be bright and fun.
Well, WWE managed to get a shoe-in, didn't they, with some names in there. So we've got R-Truth, Ron Killings was in there. Cesaro also made an appearance in there as well. And, well, this was when he was at the peak of his TNA career. Jay Lethal. But bigger than all those guys, the leader of the Blue World Order, the Blue Meanie, was in the wrestler.
Blue Meanie was in it. Wow, that's awesome.
Was in the wrestler amongst others. So there we are.
And Austin Aries.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many stars out of the 5 are you giving this, guys?
It had a lot of stars.
I personally would give it 4. If it was
you give it 4, okay.
Yeah, I'll stick with 4 as well. It's
right. I'm going to be a bit of a tight. I mean, for me, if someone says you've got a choice now, we can watch Ready to Rumble or the rest, I'd watch Ready to Rumble again. So it gets 2.5.
Yeah, it's not as fun of a film, is it? It's too serious.
Well, that's it. Too serious. It's too serious.
Wrestling's not meant to be that serious.
That's why it gets below the Ready to Rumble. But you know what? I'm going to change Ready to Rumble to 3.5 because I think wrestling deserves 3. Sorry, I'm a bit sketchy like that.
That's all right, Phil. It's Can I throw one in?
Yes, I was just about to say, Dave, can you please give us a film?
Do you want me to throw one in? So obviously we're talking about wrestling films, the good, the bad, and the awful as well. I'm going to throw one that's probably been forgotten about from many, many moons ago, and that is, drum roll please,
etc.
Suburban Commando. Suburban Commando, starring the immortal Hulk Hogan. So, have any of you guys ever seen Suburban Commando?
I have seen it a long time ago.
What do you remember, Phil?
I remember at the beginning, he comes down from space. I think he has a buddy, like with him, a mate.
Yeah.
And there's other people that have come down from space as well. And he's like a good space guy.
Yeah.
And there's bad space guys.
That's right, yeah.
He's got to try and protect some kind of family for some reason that I can't remember. But yeah, that's basically the plot.
Well,
He-Man. It's basically He-Man Masters of the Universe.
You're more or less there. It's not that sort of lines. Now, it's an interstellar hero whose ship is damaged after a fight, and he must hide on Earth until it can recharge. Right?
Right. Yes.
Obviously, with him being an alien, he rents a room at suburban middle-aged family guy's home and teams up to fight bounty hunters. Now, the middle-aged guy's home, who it is none other than Christopher Lloyd.
Yes. Yes.
The
if all else fails, he could build a time machine.
That's right. And the villain in the piece as well, who has a really bizarre speaking part at the end, is none other than The Undertaker.
Really? Yes, yes. Mark Calloway.
Yeah, he has and they're like the two bounty hunters that are trying to find him.
Yes.
And then at the end, he speaks, and it's just a really, really weird moment in the film. So if anybody's got an hour and 30 to kill, and just really fancies poisoning the man with something that's really, really bizarre, and doesn't really do Hulk Hogan's career any favours, get a look out for.
He's done there.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, you shouldn't be listening if you're 8 years old. But if you are, jump in a time machine. It's what work. Look, if you was 8 in the 80s when this come out, you'd have liked it.
Yeah, absolutely.
8-year-olds now would think, "What the hell is this? It's crap."
Suburban Commando, starring Hulk Hogan as Shep Ramsey. The
Not to be
Undertaker
confused with Gordon Ramsay.
and Christopher Lloyd as well. came out in 1991, so I didn't realise this came out actually after Home Alone. Not that makes it any better, but Suburban Commando.
All I'm saying is,
and The Undertaker.
If you want to watch a film this Christmas, guys, with your family, out of Home Alone, Suburban Commando, definitely pick Suburban Commando.
I'd really say Suburban Commando then.
For one thing, it's not got Macaulay Culkin in. Right.
I would give Suburban Commando probably an outstanding 1.5 out of 5.
Okay, 1.5. Gav, you seen it? Long time ago.
To be continued. I've luckily not seen it yet. But
Gavin is watching it at about 9:30 tonight. Okay,
what would you give it?
It's got to be a lot lower.
An hour and a half of your time, apparently.
Yeah.
It's got to be better than 1. I watched it and I enjoyed it when I watched it. So 91, I was 11. I wouldn't have watched it at the cinema, so I'd have probably been 12. It was all right. 1.5. I agree with you, Dave. 1.5.
1.5 it is.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Can I bring in one really quickly? Because
we can't anyway. We can go around. We've got another round of films to go.
This is a very, very crap film, and I'm sure I showed you it, Phil, as well. Avengers of Justice: Farce Wars.
What?
With Shawn Michaels.
No way.
As Incredible Master Yoga.
My brother's in it.
Like, seriously, it is just incredibly bad.
What's this called, Gav?
Avengers of Justice.
Avengers
of
Justice?
Wars.
Farce
Wars. The premise, while trying to remain a good husband and father, Superbat and the Avengers of Justice come out of retirement to stop Dark Jokester and Lisp Luther from freezing the planet.
That literally sounds like my life. Bloody hell, I've got to watch this film.
Man. So it's an absolute parody of Avengers and Justice League.
And Shawn Michaels, from memory, is an absolute stoner in it.
He looks like the Grinch.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh dear.
He's Yoda. Shawn Michaels as Yoda. Sorry, Yoga.
Oh
Nielsen
no.
was in it.
I wonder how much he got paid for that.
Not
more than
whatever it was. It wasn't worth it. It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. I'm telling you that. Can't have been.
Oh man.
Okay, so
smart in it. How the hell is
Gavin? Can I ask? Did you watch the full movie?
All 87 minutes of glory. It was.
And what does it get out of 5 stars, Gavin?
It didn't.
Whoa.
For the scenes with Shawn Michaels in, 5 stars. For the other scenes, just off. It was just
Get it off. Get it off. That's the awful. We've had the awful. Things can only go upwards.
Illegal substances. You don't watch that when you're normal, and not when you're straight edge. You won't watch it.
No, so you won't get CM Punk watching it.
No.
No.
Speaking
Probably
of
not.
CM Punk, I've got one Pepsi here.
Okay.
Back over to you, Philistine. What have you got for us, Phil?
So, for the next piece of cinema art...
Philistiner. Scott Philistiner.
Yeah, Scott Philistiner.
You can enter the Royal Rumble twice now.
Yes. I can. Multiple personas. Don't trust me, I'm going to get about at least 5 entries in there. It's boost my chances. Boost my chances.
About a 3-way match, and we're talking about 5-way matches. Come on. Keep it
Papa
at least
Pump.
slightly PG hero.
I like Big Papa Pump. Big Papa Pump. Right, okay, so the next movie. I don't know whether to say the one that I think is the best, probably, or go for something else. No, I'll go for a crap one.
That's a lot.
Again, no, actually, we're going to talk about The Rock, the biggest movie star in the world right now.
Right.
By far, yeah.
So, to not cheat so much as his more recent movies, let's go back to his early days. Let's say his CGI appearance in The Mummy Returns as the Scorpion King.
It was so poor, that CGI.
There has actually been an attempt to remake the CGI scenes by a group on YouTube that I'll have to link, and it actually made it was sort of watchable, that scene.
Yeah.
But it took a lot.
Well, that's, it was a big thing. The Rock. I mean, for me at the time, I was thinking, oh no, this means we're going to start losing The Rock from wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was absolutely awful. Wasn't it, the CGI on that?
It was awful. The movie was pretty good, I thought. I like Brendan Fraser. I like the sequences. So, but obviously, because of that movie, he got his own movie, The Scorpion King, which wasn't CGI, and in that, it was pretty good. I mean, he started to showcase that he could be the next action hero. Looks good, got loads of charisma. I can remember Walking Tall was one of his early ones, I believe.
That was a good film. That I liked that one.
Yeah, I liked that. Someone. Was that the one? That
was
Christopher Walken in it?
No, that was Welcome to the Jungle, wasn't it?
I was
right, okay.
Well, that's when he rock bottoms to the table.
Is that the one with Sean William Scott as well? Yeah. Welcome to the Jungle. That was after Walking Tall, I think, wasn't it?
Walking Tall was with Jackass guy, wasn't it?
Yes, Johnny Knoxville.
That's the one.
Yes.
I mean, I've got to say, if we're gonna, obviously we've got to rate a movie, so I will pick The Rock's movie, Walking Tall. Walking Tall. That was for me. That was his first one. I thought that was his starring role, first movie. It was all right. I think he came back to his hometown and sorted out some drug dealers or something like that.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's based on a true story as well.
Was it? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Not actually involved in The Rock, though, obviously.
No.
It kind of reminded me of like what Van Damme movies were like, them type of films, like Hard Target, that type of thing.
Yeah.
It was very good. 2.5 stars. That's what I'm going to give it. Walking Tall, 2.5.
2.5. I would give Walking Tall a 4 out of 5. What would you give it, Gav?
I'll give it a 4 out of 5. It was a good film.
Right, I need to rewatch it. My memories might be betraying me. 2.5 might be tight, but it's not exactly dazzling my memories. But 4.5, 4 for 2.5. Let's average it around 3.5 then for all in.
At least it's not the Tooth Fairy, and the crowd says to that.
Oh, that film. Thank you for the memories coming back.
Okay. So far, Walking Tall's the best film so far. Then yeah, we agreed.
Yeah,
so far it seems to have got the most.
Yeah.
Gav, have you got any more wrestling films?
Do one more each. I've
got a cameo one. We've got plenty more time. Don't worry. I've got a cameo one. It has to be Gremlins 2.
Oh yes.
With Hulk Hogan, brother. That he
does have a cameo, doesn't he?
Gremlins 2 was better than the first one.
Did he?
I can't remember that.
He threatened the Gremlins to carry on rolling the film, so it was actually his first ever fourth wall break in a film.
That was it, yes.
God, I can't even remember it. I mean, obviously I remember his cameo in, well, it was a bit more than a cameo, maybe, in Rocky 3.
Thunderlips,
yeah, brother. Hey.
Where he throws Rocky out the ring.
Hey, great though, that. Look, yeah, that was brilliant. Loved it.
I thought it was a Royal Rumble, brother.
Yeah. Absolutely fantastic. That was brilliant.
Do you know, he looks dead mean as Thunderlips, yeah. Do you know, maybe you should have had that persona in the WWE.
Speaking, obviously, so Gav's mentioned Gremlins 2 with Hulk Hogan's cameo in that. But we can't, obviously, leave Hulk Hogan just there when we haven't even mentioned Mr. Nanny.
Oh, dear.
Yes, Mr. Nanny, and the masterful cinematic masterpiece that is No Holds Barred.
Oh, and No Holds Barred as well.
I mean, the guy.
That porno he did.
Yeah, was that an official film?
It was unofficial, but it was officially.
Well,
if you do want to see Mr. Nanny, though. You've got a nice little. If you did, you've got some cameos in there from George the Animal Steel. You've got Brutus the Barber Beefcake in there as well.
Oh, God.
You've also got Afa. And you've also got Jim the Anvil Neidhart in there as
Jim the Anvil.
And the recently departed Kamala also made an appearance.
Which goes
Really?
to have all these great people in a film, it don't make it any less shit.
Absolutely, mate. Just because you put more ingredients in a cake doesn't mean it's going to taste any better, does it? So it's
unless it's sugar.
Again, though, I'll tell you what. Thinking back to when I was a kid and going to the video shop, and these were big films. Mr. Nanny was a big film. It had big promotion posters. Suburban Commando was the same. A lot of big promotional stuff. Going into the Pharaoh's video store on Oldmus Road when you were a young kid. I bet you remember that day. Pharaoh's video, Oldmus Road. Best video shop ever.
Absolutely.
You know, a big display. You'd have Hulk Hogan as the Suburban Commando cardboard cut out, looking at you with
Phil,
you know.
Phil, every time you say Suburban Commando, it sounds like saying Spearman Commando. Really badly does.
If you want to join the Navy, you can have Spearman Commando. But I'm not a Navy boy.
Try and say
There's also another one
great.
we've got the Marine 1 to 6000 in 2012 because there's been that many of them, starring John Cena, starring Ted DiBiase in the Marine 2.
The Heartbreak.
Mr. Kennedy was in number 3. Yeah, and the Miz has been in like 7,000 other follow-ons from that as well.
One more shout out on this sort of lineup, but this guy's an absolute legend of a superstar. About Stone Cold Steve Austin in the Dependables. Was it number 2 or 3? Expendables even.
Yes.
That's because he's a dependable expendable.
He was. He also played a bad guy in that as well, didn't he?
He did. He had a fight with Stallone, didn't he?
He did. And I'll tell you what is another good Stone Cold film where he actually plays the lead in it. I like this one.
I think I might have seen this.
The Condemned.
Is he a bouncer in it or something like that?
Basically, they all get... He goes to prison for something or other, and they all get tied up in this game show, and basically, it's a bit like Running Man.
Right, got it. I've not seen it then. I've not seen it.
You know, the one who survives gets to go home and live happily ever after. But Phil, I've just linked it onto Running Man. Who is in the Running Man?
Jesse the Body Ventura. Running Man, he plays that Captain Insano or something like that. I can't quite remember his name. Captain, something like that. It's like the first baddie that he faced. No, not the first one.
Like the end one, anyway.
They get him in, say, no, you need to come in because we can't get him. You're going to have to come and get him, sort of thing. But yes, I remember him in that. Yeah, definitely.
Captain Freedom.
I've got
Captain Freedom
that I've just discovered right now.
Yeah.
Luke Perry, you know, the actor who died 2019.
Yeah.
Is Jungle Boy's dad.
No way.
Or was.
Yeah.
Who's Jungle Boy? Is he in Jungle Boy?
You see, folks, even on the Piledriver podcast, you learn as you go along. Every day is a learning day.
Okay.
I've got to say,
do you want another random fact as well?
Who's also only 23.
Who's that? Jungle Boy?
Yeah, he's only 23.
Great wrestler. I love him and Luchasaurus.
And Marco Stunt is about 13 now, at least.
What? So, one of those Luchasaurus guys is in the AEW tag team is the son of Luke Perry.
Yep.
All right.
Is it the Jurassic Express?
That is the one.
Yes.
Ah, well.
Do you want another little random fact that is loosely related to wrestling films?
Jungle Boy.
Go for it.
So you know the Running Man obviously had Jesse the Body Ventura as Captain Freedom.
Yes.
Also in the Running Man, there was a brief cameo from Mick Fleetwood from Fleetwood Mac.
Okay.
Jesse the Body Ventura was also had the infamous line in Predator, "You bleeding, man? I ain't got time to bleed." It was what a film that was. Get to the chopper now.
I'm going to go like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever it's called. Fleetwood Town today on that line lost 1-4-0. Oh no, they didn't. It was the 1-2-1.
Joey
Barton
Barton is my sister's uncle.
And Joey Barton has the same name as the same first name as Joey Janela. Get it wrong somehow.
Right, okay.
Are we just doing like a chain game where we just like say someone's name and then link it onto someone else? Brilliant.
Right, one last round. Yeah. One last round of films then.
One last round of films. So I've got some others, guys. Have you got any, Phil?
I've got one main one that I wanted to mention, which is my favourite film with a wrestler in. Made by a brilliant director. He's made plenty of great films, mainly in the horror, sci-fi sort of genre. John Carpenter's They Live. Roddy Piper. Without
question, in my opinion, as a wrestling fan, the best film to start a wrestler. I mean, Running Man and Predator come very, very close, but They Live all the way through. Just the whole concept of that film is
Roddy Piper. Brilliant. Nails the part. He nails the part. Yeah. His acting's great. John Carpenter always does his own music for the films, and that's really, it's all atmospheric. It really builds in. There's a lot of big bass, like do that sort of type of stuff. This guy's he's like a cowboy, and he gets these sunglasses where he can see what's really happening. And what's really happening, guys, is that
New World Order.
The aliens have taken over, and they're sending secret messages, subliminal messages into your mind, and you can't see them. But with these sunglasses, you can see them. And Roddy Piper,
you can see the lies.
He can see the lies. It's all lies. And he comes, and he got a big shotgun, and he comes with chewing gum, and he says this. He says, I'm here to chew bubble gum and kick ass, and I'm all out of gum. Boom! Man, watch that film if you've not seen it. They Live gets the 4.5 out of 5 stars. Top film of the night.
And I would go easy, at least 4.5 stars out of 5.
Heck of a film. I need to watch. I might watch it again tonight.
I watched it recently, about a month, maybe 6 weeks ago. First time I'd seen it for a few years, and I still enjoyed it. Really good film.
Brilliant film. And the crowd says...
They do.
Just to wrap up this little segment, or like some closing parts of it, there's some other films that we have skimmed over. There's obviously the one about Paige, called Fighting with My Family, which is quite a good film. There's quite some good funny moments in that as well. Great cameo,
though, didn't it?
Yeah, but a great cameo from The Rock in there. You've also got some really, really poor Hanna-Barbera ones with WWE stars in there as well. But we cannot skip, because there's loads and loads and loads of films like Santa Claus, the horror film starring Bill Goldberg.
Why did I not mention that one? That is like my favourite Christmas film ever.
We're saving that for the Christmas special, guys.
Can we make a whole hour?
We're gonna have a watch along.
Yeah, can we do a watch along of that at Christmas? It's called Santa's Sleigh, not Santa Claus.
Just really bad films with wrestlers in at Christmas, such as Jingle All the Way 2, Santa's Little Helper, starring The Miz and Paige, but we forgot to mention one of the biggest blockbuster movies over the past 10 years, starring Dave Bautista, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2.
Oh, gosh, absolutely. Well, we've just found out our 5-star film because, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, 5 out of 5.
Volume 2, 6 out of 5.
Ironically as well, I've just found a film on here which starring Randy Orton, which ironically is called 12 Rounds, which I think is about the length of fights that he's had over the past 12 years anyway. So quite fitting, that one. 12 Rounds starring Randy Orton.
Sound effects. Sound effects.
Yeah, and I don't know, I just need every opportunity to do this about Randy Orton.
Let's go back to the topic of Santa's Sleigh as well. After the awesome soundbite.
Dave, we need to get a sound effect that goes, "You suck, you suck." Yeah, that'd be great, you know.
We're trying to avoid copyright things.
We could change it a little bit, make our own, you know.
Yeah, we'll probably buy one sometime. But Santa Sleigh.
We'll have to record our own sound effects.
Can I speak, Phil? You're talking over everyone as usual. Right.
Go on, then I'll let you.
Santa Sleigh, starring Bill Goldberg. He met his wife filming that.
Oh,
Can you guess what scene?
When he was slaying her.
It was in the strip club. She was the stripper that was on the swing that he has his head between the legs of.
Oh,
for
dear.
part of it. He met his wife by filming all day with his head between their legs.
Wow.
That is one
She must have been very hygienic.
Well, it makes a change from going on Tinder, I suppose, or you know what I mean. So.
Swipe sex swing.
Yeah, crikey! You imagine telling that story to your son's girlfriend when she comes round for her first meal. Do you know what I mean? So how did you guys meet them? Well, it's a funny story.
Yeah, so true. And can I just
legs all day.
if we had the you suck sound effects right now, that would still kind of make sense too.
Well, you won't be sucking, but we'll skip over the next part of that.
Okay. Not for definitely not PG tonight.
Keep it PG-13.
Okay.
We're allowed one shit per film. Actually, PG-13 you're allowed one fuck per film. PG
really?
Shit.
Really?
Home Alone.
Yeah, so
Home Alone. One of the guys says the word shit.
Really?
When he gets his shoe trapped and loses it through the cat flap.
I didn't
Just
know
pick
that.
up and go shit. No, you know.
I'll be looking out for that in 3 months' time.
I'll send you a link. 'Cause I even put it on YouTube. That bit.
Yes.
I got copyright strikes for it years before it was popular.
Well, I definitely won't say cunt because I know a lot of people don't like that word.
And now we know got the R rating.
And we went.
Let me just double check to make sure this is marked as for grown-ups only.
We did say that at the beginning.
We did our disclaimer, didn't we?
Yeah, I'm sorry it goes so low there, but I had to chop it in.
And does that include our movies?
I think that is the end of the movies. If you want to go and watch a cartoon from the 80s, definitely don't go watch Hogan's Rock and Roll Wrestling or whatever it was called. Watch He-Man.
Or any films
Watch
with
He-Man.
Hogan in them, especially
Thundercats.
And also watch the Mr. T cartoon as well, which is around about the same era. So yeah.
Whoa! Did they ever do a crossover?
I don't know if they did actually.
Because it would have made sense around WrestleMania 1 and 2, wouldn't it?
Of course it would have done. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got
Well, maybe something to look out for.
Move on to if we're ready for that.
Right. What's that?
And that
AW Dynamite, with its 1 million views, actually peaked during the Jericho Hager and Kiss Janela match at 1.2 million.
Well, there you go. Jericho doing everything he can to push AEW.
Raw, the whole show, the top of that was 1.725.
Wow.
It won't be long before AEW was taking over, I wouldn't have thought. Maybe it's good as well, because that's what it needs. Start the Monday Night Wars again. Monday Night World Wars 2. Monday Night Wars 2.
Look how that went for NXT.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's awesome, that guys. So, Phil, is that the roundup of wrestlers in the movies, the good, the bad, and the awful?
I believe it is. I mean, there was definitely a couple of awful ones there. No Old Bars, the good, Ready to Rumble for me. The absolute awesome there with Guardians of the Galaxy, They Live. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Look, guys, I'm pretty sure somebody will be listening thinking, why you didn't say that movie that I liked? Oh, you bastards! Well, put it in the comments and tell us about it. Maybe we've not seen it. Do you know?
Yes.
Right, anyway, moving on.
Moving on, and that's that segment finished.
You really have to send me that sound effect so I can play it over the actual, like, loud thing. I'll make a lot of sense when you... Or even just
Right
like
then.
the remote control one.
Makes himself and his keyboard.
That's it. I just can't help it, man. I've just got like keyboard Tourette's or something. I just love playing with sound effects. So, Gav, have you got the joke of the week?
Oh, he's not got a joke prepared, has he? Look at him.
Joke. I've just got the fact that Miro looks like he should be some sort of cross between Dominic Mysterio and Eminem right now.
Yeah, do you know, I was thinking that. It's like the bleach blonde look. I thought, I understand the wanting to, get away from being Rusev, but I just don't think it's a look that's going to catch on.
Right then.
So
I've got one, but why does the Ultimate Warrior not sell dog food?
I don't know.
Because he can't sell a pedigree.
Way!
Yeah.
Talking about Ultimate Warrior and pedigrees, do you remember when he squashed Triple H in about 5 seconds?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is that about? Yeah. That was
Even
awful.
I've got one.
Go on.
Right then.
Oh, someone's trying to take my mantle.
Well, this one is that bad, Gav. I couldn't let it slide, this one. This is absolutely awful. So, I'm thinking of creating a wrestling match with origami figures. It's pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view.
And I'm sure we all know one wrestler will somehow get injured in that match.
Yeah.
Well, he'll get a paper cut, won't he?
Yeah, of course he will.
John Cena when he gets older.
And then when somebody comes in and puts vinegar on it as well, that's it. You've had it. Game over.
Thumbtacks.
Oh, do you know what? Do you know we didn't?
I've got one final one because it's crap.
Go for it.
What were you called John Cena when he's old?
Don't know.
John Senile.
Oh, like it. Very good.
That was bad.
I can hear people in the comments. They might not have met him yet, but when they've listened to it later, they're going to be going mad at us for not mentioning Macho Man in Spider-Man.
Of course.
Exactly. Do you know? That's what we're going to get. We're going to get that. We're going to get. I can't believe it. Yeah, we're going to get that. So there you go. Special mention, Macho Man Randy Savage. Rest in peace, dude. We love you.
Bonesaw McGraw. Just one thing as well to mention. I was looking at some wrestling footage of wrestling events in Hull.
Yes.
Over recent times. And one guy who is in AEW actually came to the Hull City Hall in 2018. And that was the man who introduced the new best man, Miro. It was Kip Sabian.
Yeah, I remember.
Kip Sabian was part of New Generation Wrestling, which was formed in Hull. And he made some appearances at events in Hull as well. So we've had AEW stars / royalty already in our own backyard as well.
We also had NXT UK in Hull. That was just depressing.
Yeah. Depressing. So, guys, anything to look forward to for this week in the world of wrestling?
Dynamite. That's about all there's to look forward to this week, I think.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm not even going to watch Rory snore anymore. It's just, I'll have to watch it for this, but only when I'm trying to go to sleep.
It's painful, isn't it? It really, like, all joking aside, it is such a painful show to watch at the moment.
NXT
really
is better than Raw. That shouldn't be that way around.
And Bray Wyatt, the Firefly Funhouse, is still the only thing really that's keeping me, apart from the women's tag team matches, is like the main thing in SmackDown at the moment as well. So
guys, what we're doing next week?
Next week
we have got a comment as well. Actually, a film that we did miss: The Peanut Butter Falcon.
The Peanut Butter Falcon.
Yeah.
The Peanut Butter Falcon, yes, that's something that we watched recently because it's very, very close to my family's heart. Because one of the actors in there has Down syndrome, and it stars Shia LaBeouf as well.
I've not heard of this film, guys.
It's on
really,
Netflix.
really good.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. The Peanut Butter Falcon, really good film. Just something that you wouldn't normally come across. Just a really, really good cast, really, really good film as well, and definitely worthwhile watching. Because you mentioned him earlier on, it's got Jake the Snake Roberts.
Wow. Okay.
Without Damien.
Damien. It's been a long time since Damien's been about. I remember Damien back in the day.
Back in the day,
he used to get him out the bag.
Great one. So very much big thanks to Carola's Templum for that one, the Peanut Butter Falcon. Right then, guys. So we've got AEW to look forward to. Raw. Jury's still on that one.
Connection.
we've also got SmackDown to look forward to as well, and obviously the Bound for Glory pay-per-view.
You could have stayed if you
well.
wanted, Phil. You didn't miss much.
Yeah.
Is there a pay-per-view for WWE this week? There's normally one like every week.
I'm here, guys. I'm just
Right then. So is that yes? We'll build up to Bound for Glory pay-per-view.
That's better.
That's coming up on the 24th of October.
So let's get a guided tour around the Wimbledon Massive.
Right. Okay. And what about next week's podcast? Is there any?
Next week's podcast.
Is there any?
I mean, have you two guys got any ideas? Because I've got something that it's a bit like the elephant in the room, really, that I was going to do eventually. But unless you two guys have got any ideas,
wrestlers who have porn tips.
Wrestlers on.
Wrestlers what?
Wrestlers who have had porno tapes leak.
Nah.
Let's take it higher brow than that.
Paige and Hulk Hogan.
We'll save that for episode 1000.
I was going to think about at some point we're going to have to do something about the darker side of wrestling. Things that could have been avoided. Things that were just out of anybody's control, and just things that spiraled out. Especially, we're talking about like the 80s, 90s wrestlers, where there wasn't the well-being policy, the wellness policy involved in there. There wasn't as much talked about with regards to mental health and things like that. So I think when it's my turn to pop up and do it, I think I'm going to cover that.
That might have to be a slightly longer episode as well, because there's so much in that subject.
Well, we could maybe span that over a couple of weeks, then maybe 2 or 3 weeks worth of podcast.
That sounds like.
It sounds like a good topic, a quite serious topic. That maybe each time we did cover something a little bit more serious.
That's going to suck for me, isn't it?
I just think it's like the elephant in the room, isn't it, regards to wrestling, because it's only when you get older, past your school years, you think, actually, it's quite a cutthroat business in more ways than one. So
quite literally sometimes as well. With
yeah, absolutely.
I forget his name was murdered before a show.
Yeah, exactly.
Bruiser Brody.
Yeah, Bruiser Brody. Yeah. So, guys, are we wrapping up this show then?
Yeah.
Yes, I think we are. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, a big thanks to Phil for choosing this subject of wrestlers in movies, the good, the bad, and the awful. We hope you all enjoyed it, ladies and gents. Please feel free to drop comments on there regarding anything that we've missed, anything that you liked, anything that you think we can improve on. And also, we are eventually going to be expanding. Obviously, when things change in terms of COVID-19, we are going to be getting more visuals on the podcast, investing in green screen and other bits and bobs as well. So
I've got the team.
That's absolutely it. So things are going to get better. We do appreciate your support so far, and welcome and good night to the Piledriver Podcast.
See you next week.
Good night, guys. Bye-bye.
Ciao.